The Fudd has played an important role in idiocy, an existence which has been ridiculed and denounced, served misery and annoyance alike, and carries with it gross moral hypocrisy. To understand the Fudd is to better understand idiocy.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Tales of the Fudd. I am Mike B, and today I posted up the first video in this series and got an overwhelmingly positive response from people who were sharing their tales of their Fudd experiences as well. And with that, I got several in the comments section alone after the first only couple hours of having this posted. So I figured I'd get ahead of the game and start doing these. So I figured, it's a really good thing for you guys to comment and share these stories if you want them, posted or selected to be in these videos and stuff. And also it sparks memories that I have. And this particular story sparked a memory that I'll tell after this individual's story because it's very relevant, a very similar experience. Now, I've decided in this series that I am just going to briefly define what a Fudd is for those who don't know, because somebody might not necessarily start on episode 1 or want to go back to episode 1 to refer to the definition. So I'll try to speed through it for those of you who don't know what a Fudd is. The agreed upon overall definition is from Urban Dictionary, and I've taken a couple parts of different definitions that I thought were made it more accurate and easy to understand. It's a slang term for a casual gun owner or a person who typically only owns guns for hunting or shotgun sports, and doesn't really truly believe in the true premise of the Second Amendment. These people also generally treat owners / users of so-called non-sporting firearms like handguns or semi-automatic rifles with unwarranted scorn or contempt. Very, very judgmental, very vocal about it. From the second definition, it's kind of adding to this. It says it describes where the name comes from. It's Elmer Fudd. It was a character on Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny and all that stuff. And if you don't know who Elmer Fudd is, I feel sorry for you. You can do a Google search and figure out the appearance and whatever. Basically, the word Fudd is his last name, Elmer Fudd, and it's because people definitely in this category are generally like Elmer, where they're kind of slow, dumb, and happily clueless. And I'll also add to a little bit of it some context of my personal definition and broaden the horizons to include people who just don't really know anything about firearms in general, but claim to, usually via regurgitated myths that you can tell right away. And at the same time, they support legislation that threatens to ban or restrict guns designed for war or army guns or whatever stupid shit like that they'll come up with. They don't have a problem with that kind of legislation, because it doesn't affect them, which is kind of the thing. And while being against army guns or military-style guns for civilian possession or use, they don't really care about that. A lot of them also tout that the 1911 is the single bestest platform and pistol in the world, and you're a retard if you don't agree with their personal preference based on other people's opinions and preference themselves. Basically, a couple words to sum them up are clueless, arrogant, judgmental, and usually older, but that is definitely not a requirement. So, with that, now that we've got that out of the way, this series is just going to do what I kind of told you at the beginning. It's going to expose myself, expose experiences that I'm not going to expose myself. Don't worry about that. Don't get excited there, long-term subscribers. And it's going to aim to expose experiences that myself, friends, and viewers of the channel have had with these types to have a good laugh and let everyone know you're not alone. I've got some good friends, or some good friends, and then some other acquaintances that have YouTube channels that you'll recognize that have stories that they'll be sending in too. So everybody's had experiences with these, so let's get to it. This is from a comment on the first video. These are all comments on the first video. Slavic Gondola. Be me at the range. Nice day, great temperature, pretty much the only guy at the range with the exception, or exclusion, it's exception, sorry, of two guys at the lane to the far right of me. Some boomer walks up to the bench right next to me and proceeds to set his stuff down, which doesn't bother me. When the range officer calls a ceasefire, the boomer moves his target stand literally right next to mine, like 2 feet away. Mind you, each shooting position has about 11 feet of distance between them. And this has to be the shooting range equivalent of someone using a urinal right next to you when 3 or more are open. Me, mildly irritated, resumes shooting when the RO gives the okay. About a minute or so into shooting, I hear the boomer trying to say something to me, so I flip on the safety and turn to him to see what he was inquiring about, only for him to complain about my brass hitting them and then asked me to move. I just laughed and said I was here first and kept shooting, and he ended up leaving and looking all butt blasted, or butt hurt, whatever. Yeah, so that was just, that's about as self-centered and just rude as you can possibly get on the range. It is just like walking up to somebody. It's less so in a urinal setting even than this, because it's like, yeah, you have all these other benches, you got all this other room, and you have to go right there. It's like, oh, it's my bench, you need to move. Your brass is hitting me. It's like, so? Deal with it. that, or you can move because I was here first. And that kind of shit is irritating. It's not just boomers that do that. There's younger people that do the same shit. The tactical, 10-foot long tactical Kevlar beard, Punisher tattoos and shirts and shit like that tight. Oakley glasses. I mean, I wear Oakleys, but you know the type I'm talking about. Get the beard wax in with the slick back hair and the nice short buzz cut. Those kind of people are the same way, and they think they run everything. So it's not specifically limited to boomers, although boomers usually do it a lot more. And the ones that are, the boomer Fudds are into themselves on a pretty extensive level, and it's kind of impressive. I can't even really get mad at it sometimes. But anyway, I'm going off on a rant about boomers. I don't have a problem with boomers. My parents are boomers. I have a lot of friends that are boomers. It's just kind of a joke, but there's definitely a different style that older people will have being Fudds and being rude than a younger person will. So we'll just point that out. Yeah, I'm glad you held your ground, Gondola. I would have held my ground too. I'm like, no, you can politely go fuck yourself. I was here first. You came up to me, and then you're bitching that I'm now hitting you with brass. I assume you were shooting an AR or something like that, with extracts brass out to the right. And so I totally am on board with you. But yeah, that's really shitty to do that. And I bet you he had like a 22 or a deer rifle or something like that, just like going out there and doing, or like a bench shooting a pistol like a 1911. At 25 yards or whatever. Anyway, so that kind of reminded me of a similar story, and this guy was actually younger. He was probably in his 30s or late 30s or early 40s, and this is 2018, I believe, and it's the last time I ever shot clays on a league, or on a team in a league out at the local gun club, because we were out there, and if you ever shot trap and all that stuff, you've got the firing line and all that stuff, and you kind of rotate every 25 shots for your round and everything. Well, there was this guy to the right of me, and I was using my Benelli M1014 with a target choke on it, and I was actually doing fairly well with it because I'm really comfortable with it, and I don't own a trap gun or a hunting shotgun. That's my universal shotgun because it was expensive, and it was kind of my dream shotgun from Counter-Strike, blah, 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 blah. All that shit aside, that's what I was using out there, and the whole reaction from all the Fudds out there was another story in itself, and that happened every time I went out there and put the thing on the rack with all the rest of the, $5,000 double-barrel shotguns, and they still couldn't hit 25 in each round. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, and I'm shooting on the line, and the rounds are extracting. They're not going super far, but a couple of them are bouncing and like nicking his leg, and he's wearing shorts because it's in the summer or the spring. And he gets all asked, and he goes, yeah, you need to have, it's really distracting my shot when you fire and it hits me and burns my leg. And I'm like, well, A, it's low brass. Most of it's plastic, so I highly doubt I actually, and it stayed on there long enough to burn you. B, there's about 15 seconds in between the time that I shoot and then you can shoot. So it doesn't hit you as you're shooting and drawing down. Whatever, so anything like that. Anyway, he got into an argument with me. He's like, you need to do something. You need to get like a hull deflector or something to put on there. And I'm like, why? It's not that big of a deal. Like, just fucking deal with it. If I get hit by brass or whatever, or hulls, I don't care. It's not like, oh God, I'm in such a zone. And he wasn't doing perfect or anything. He was just an average, getting 22 to 23, but it was so important for him. And so I was like, just pretty much shut up. And then he gets his older like friends, they come over and, yeah, why are you using something like that for Trap League there? Yeah, you gotta have something to deflect the brass. It's a house rule. And I'm like, oh, it is it? That's cute. I'm like, I can't, I don't want to fucking do that. Like, I just want to come out here and shoot clays and then go home. And I want to get my scores in and then go home. And that's it. And then these guys they surrounded me. They were being assholes. So finally I said, you know what? Okay, whatever you want. Next time I'll have a brass deflector. And I walked away and the guy's like, it's no hard feelings. I said, yeah, go fuck yourself. And we left. I was there with my friend. I was like, I'm done. That's it. I'm not dealing with these fuckers anymore. So that does ruin a lot of things because they lost that trap team that I was on. I said, hey, I can't deal with this bullshit at the range anymore. Every time I go out there, it's something. It's a safety Nazi when I'm not being unsafe at all. It's somebody making a comment. It's somebody, and it was just like, shut up. And that was like the final straw when they're all surrounding me saying, yeah, you could do this, have somebody make a custom thing or just, you can't be having this stuff out here. It's really, it's like, God, shut up. So anyway, that was the last time I really got pissed off and stormed off because of a Fudd. And that guy was, like late 30s, early 40s. He had some stupid, double barrel, I don't know, like trap shooting shotguns at all. I know what a Browning Satoria looks like. I know what the Remington 396 Skeet looks like. they all look the same to me. It's just like all these army guns, all these Mausers look the same to them. So I don't know what he had, but it was a double barrel, and he was trying to get in all of his stance and shit, and like he had been doing it. He had all the gear, and he's wearing shorts. He's got like just everything. It's like, good God, dude. Anyway, so that was my experience with somebody bitching about getting hit with brass. Oh God, that pissed me off so bad. Anyway, so that was my experience with the Fudd, and that's what caused me to stop shooting in a competitive manner. Unless it's like in a 3-gun competition or something where you're basically competing against everybody. You're not on a team. But even then, we went to some 3-guns that had people running it that were whatever. But that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to get distracted with that. So that's why I don't shoot trap anymore. How about that? So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Slavic Gondola, for sharing that story. That sucks. And that's really, I'm glad you stood your ground. People are just rude. They're assholes. And they just think that the world owes them something. And it definitely does not. It owes you less if you act like that, in my opinion. Anyway, if you want your story to be on this series or something like that, or you have like a Range Ninja story for the other series, feel free to post in the comments, or you can go to Mike B on Facebook. You can find my page, my channel page. You can see that it's just Mike B. You'll know it's me. And then just message me on there with the story that you have, and maybe I'll throw it on a video. Just try not to make shit up like that's just trying to be funny and edgy and stuff. Like, I just want it to be a true story because these are for educational purposes as well. Like this one, don't be a dick to people. Just don't be a dick to people on the range, especially. Good God. Anyway, so yeah, if you want that, feel free to post it in the comments or send me a message. Also, I'd like to thank the sponsors of this channel, my Patreon supporters and my channel members. So because of you guys, I've been able to do a lot of really cool content this year. Like Devin K and I did those ballistic tests on those helmets, and then we could not have done that without Patreon support. I got some other historical things, like that French uniform, that World War I French uniform, a bunch of other accessories. And I'll be definitely doing some more videos on that now that things are kind of settling down. And yeah, I really appreciate Patreon support. It allows us to do ballistic tests and other really cool content. You do a lot of shooting videos next year. Sorry I didn't do more this year. We might do some winter shooting videos, which then the Patreon will really help with that because we can go kind of balls to the wall with the ammo. Anyway, $5 a month or more on either method of support gets you onto my Discord server, which is pretty fun. There's a lot of people on there. It's pretty interactive. I'm on there mostly every day. And a lot of information is exchanged. You can kind of see sneak peeks and projects that I'm working on, like this series and all that stuff, and blah, blah, blah. If you want to support me, but you cannot do it financially, I totally understand that. Just do what you know works, which is liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and then if you haven't already, subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell, if it even does anything. And also sharing this video out is fun. If you think this is kind of a fun thing, and you want to see more of it, and you think other people could benefit from watching this or would be entertained, sharing this video really helps me out without having to do it financially. So I appreciate that. And if you're in that third category and you're like, nah, well, I hate to break it to you, you've already supported me by watching this video. So I do appreciate each and every one of you who's watched my videos in the past, present, and the upcoming future. And we'll see you on the next episode of Tales of the Fudd.